Hi there, Crafters, Louise with you today. Thanks so much for checking out this video. It is, of course, scrap lifting myself. Now, I had to dig a little bit deeper, so this is actually a layout from 2022, but I kind of think it's still okay to do this as a lift because it's all about just finding inspiration from your own previously created layouts. So, firstly, I am working in 9x12 size, and I have chosen a few bits and pieces from my stash. So the patterned paper is from my 100 patterned papers pile, and I'm trimming it down to obviously 9x12, and I'm going to core out the middle to use later. And then what I want to do is just trim down my actual A4 cardstock that I just buy in bulk sheets, and that's going to sit on top of that base that I've cut. Now, being that this had some floral elements in the Scraplift, I wanted to obviously include some florals. So I'm sort of trying to coordinate my colours, but the florals that I've chosen are like a red, a mustard, and then maybe some type of blue. And I just didn't think that those colours would look great in a background. And the original background, I think, was with Lindy's sprays because it came as part of a Kitaholic kit. But I'm going to do this similar technique to what I showed you earlier in a video where I used a packaging, a packaging background and spread my mediums onto that and then pressed my press my paper into that background. So I've chosen a couple of different colors. One's that rose gold, and then I've just got a blue which I thought would coordinate, and then that sort of silver grey at the bottom. Now the first round of this I'm not super happy with. I didn't use enough of that top and bottom color, so I'm going to have to repeat this with a little bit more color because I want it to be kind of watercolory, not necessarily striped. The stripe is okay, but I want the colour to be a little bit denser. So you'll see when I come back and pop this over the colour the second time around, this looks much better. And because I'm going to cover it with paste anyway, it really is just a background for the basic colour to appear through. Now I also did toy with the idea of maybe I should add more colour just with a paintbrush. But again, once the paste goes over the top and then I start to work on a little bit of edging as well in terms of darkening it up and adding a bit of shadow, most of it gets covered, which is kind of cool because then you just get these little pops of different layers of color poking through. Now you can see that I double store my paste. So obviously my paste is in its container, and then I store it in another container, airtight sealed container in my craft room, but it's still gone hard in the Queensland heat and humidity where I live. My paste is nearing the end of its life, so it's a little bit harder to spread, but eventually we get there and I end up with a pasted background. And this is what I was talking about with those darkened edges. So we've got my water soluble crayon here. And honestly, I saw somebody use this. It might have been like Natalie May used it maybe, and I just loved the way it darkened up those edges. And it's obviously water soluble, so it's water activated, which is what I'm doing now, just taking my paintbrush and activating that crayon so that it moves around and darkens up and gives that little bit of shadow. So if you don't have one in your stash, they're readily available. I love mine. I haven't used it for ages, but now that I've pulled it out again, I'm like, yes, I remember why I really enjoyed using this. So that's what that is, to get that kind of darkened border. And it does give a different type of border than what you would get, say, with a distress ink or anything like that. So for me, that's a win. I really like the way that border looks. All right, now I'm trying to make sure that, yes, here we go. We're building the clustering. Obviously, I know I'm going to have florals, but I want to have journaling in there as well. So picking out a little journal spot from my stash. These florals actually lay it up really nicely. They came together so well. There was just a simple sort of, pop them on the page and tuck one into that left-hand side, and those pieces just sat there really well. So I love this. I think it turned out cute. The photo itself is just it's one of those everyday life memories, and this is our cat who we named Ginge. Her actual name is Squirrel, but we just call her Ginge. And she doesn't often come out for treats. She's not standoffish, but she's just very much keeps to herself. And yeah, she came out for a treat this particular day, and I thought that was kind of cute. And we snapped a quick photo. So yeah, loving it with the florals. I've off camera done up my title and added that journaling element and pulled a few little pieces in this Simple Stories collection because I think it just worked with the florals, and you can see that little bit of pink background poking through. So this turned out so nicely. Yeah, having fun scraplifting old layouts, just taking them and reimagining them in different ways, and it's nice because there's no hard thought involved. You know, I can just take a layout that's already done and create with new products and different supplies and create a memory that's going to pop into an album. All right, so essentially here I am just popping the last of the embellishments on there. I'm going to call this one done. It's a scrap lift of myself, so I hope that you enjoyed it. I had lots of fun. Please feel free to scrap lift it and make sure you tag or share it with me. As always, I wish you happy scrapping.